Hey guys, will you turn the lights on?
All right, we are live.
What's up?
Woodward Nights, baby, on the Woodward Sports Network. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Ran into a little bit of a situation here, but we are back, ready to roll here on a, Thursday night, baby.
Thursday.
Let's go. We really do apologize. Getting things going. And let us know if there's something wrong with the stream here, if there's anything going. I was in there cooking.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to be taking some calls tonight.
No, we're going to take some calls tonight for sure. We've got a lot of things going on here today. I know yesterday we had a Denver Broncos beat reporter. The game being on a Saturday, I know it really doesn't change much for us, but we still are able to kind of talk a little bit more about the Broncos today. So we're going to do that. 8:15, we're going to talk about the Lions injury report, some offensive line situations going on there in Detroit. You were in Allen Park today.
I was.
Which was pretty exciting. And then at 8:30, we're going to go Detroit Lions versus the Denver Broncos. We're going to break that down. I've got some stats for this Broncos team, Broder. I've got some interesting stats, but really for this defense, this Broncos defense, that I want to talk about here with Jahmyr Gibbs.
It's a very interesting defense. Like they're very polarizing, the good and the bad of that defense.
And Parker yesterday, the Denver Broncos beat reporter, he did mention as well how that defense kind of has been night and day difference from last year to this year, and you could kind of tell the difference there with their new DC. 8:45, Broder texted me this yesterday, and he posed a pretty good question. Maybe Ben Johnson has too many weapons, and maybe he's overthinking everything. We're going to talk about that at 8:45. 9 o'clock, we're going to talk about Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Broder spoke with Amon-Ra earlier today, so we have a video for that. 9:15, temperature check. 9:30, Aaron Glenn.
AG,
baby. We're going to talk Aaron Glenn. At 9:40, we're going to open the phone calls up the second half of the show here for you guys today. Appreciate it again. As you guys come in, make sure you guys hit that like button for us. We're gonna put a good show on today, I think, Broder.
We are.
Even through all the obstacles, we're putting a good show on.
Sometimes, here's a quote for you. Adversity causes some men to break, others to break records. That's Charles Ward, I think. His old high school basketball quote that just stuck. Let's do it. We're fighting through, and we're going to have a good show for you guys. This is Lions week. They need a huge win this Saturday. Red Wings won last night? 2 nights ago, Tuesday? I've been so locked into the Lions.
The Lions, and I was just talking about this before the show. It's like this season, it's been 3 months now, and it's felt like it's been like a year of a season because the Lions have been so good, and we have not been used to this. So it's like we're covering a great football team, and usually when it's bad, it's like this time you're talking the draft, and you're like, all right, what's going on in the future? But basically with the Lions right now, it's you're full on coverage for 4 or 5 straight months. In everything else, it feels like it's like outside world.
Yeah. It doesn't help the record of the basketball team. The hockey team's been doing pretty well, and baseball team. Once that season starts to come,
we're gonna have packed things to talk about.
Obviously, it's after football season, but it'll be interesting. I'm excited for the Tigers this year.
Also here, I didn't know if you guys saw this. Let's real quick, Lorena. I did tell you I would talk a little bit of Red Wings today. My chair keeps shrinking, so if you guys are like Booner, you're that much shorter than Broder.
It's cold in here.
I promise you, my chair keeps shrinking. I do want to go here. Nick, press 1. Look who's in the TD booth right now.
Let's go. You want some Red Wings? The Red Wings are down 1-0 early to Carolina. Hopefully they can bounce back and win this game at home. Carolina's a really tough team. So hopefully the Red Wings score some goals, get LCA buzzing a little bit, and this team pulls it through.
I've got something for Lorena. I got something for you there, Nick, about the Red Wings. I don't know if anyone saw this. I don't have a graphic or anything for it right now, but the Detroit Red Wings are currently the most watched hockey team in the whole National Hockey League right now.
No way.
Hockey Town is officially back. They are back. Hockey Town is back,
That's
man.
why they call it Hockey Town.
Yes, when Detroit, and I think people forgot. We had this conversation last week. I think a lot of people forgot that Detroit is the real Hockey Town because that 10-year stretch when everything was really bad. I remember telling you guys this that I heard so many different towns and different cities be like, "This is Hockey Town. This is Hockey Town." Someone will win 1 Stanley Cup and be like, "Hockey Town." It's like, what are we doing here?
There should be a minimum number of banners that need to be raised for you to even be considered a town of the sport.
I think it's so far past that, though, too, Broder. What I think, like, just the fact that the Red Wings are good for the first time in how long, that they're already, the one time they're good, they're already the most viewed NHL team in the whole league. It's and this isn't like they're not. It's not like they're number one in the NHL. Like they're in a playoff spot, but they're still out there getting viewers.
And I don't have the stats, but I know they are near the top of the league, and it's either 4 or 5 goal games. Like their power play has been rocking for a chunk of the season. Now you got names now. They added DeBrincat, who has played well. They added Kane, who started well and looks possibly like a lot better than maybe we all expected. So that could be huge. Yeah. It's one of those things. When it all comes together, especially in this town, whether it's football, hockey, Tigers, or the Pistons, when good teams are in Detroit, like they got some fans, and this is hockey town. I don't care what any other team around the NHL thinks.
Little update as well too on an injury update when it comes to Dylan Larkin. He was on the ice today for practice.
He was?
Didn't know if you guys saw that. I don't know if he was like full practice or whatever, but it looked like
conscious on the ice.
He was skating around. I have a video for it. We don't have right now. We can't get any videos or anything, but I did have a video. Maybe we'll show it later at the end of the show. But he was out there practicing a little bit. He had a gray jersey on, which I'm guessing means like don't hit, kind of like stay away. But he's still out there kind of doing walkthroughs, which is from what we saw last week to now, that's a positive sign. Him being back out there.
Well, Bruce Bedrock confirmed the Wings lead the NHL in scoring, so
Let's go.
They're up there.
Hockey town, baby. Nick, what you have there on that? Looked like you had something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I was there in LCA when he got hurt, and it just went dead quiet.
I was watching live.
It was the scariest moment I've ever seen in the NHL personally, and I was there. Like everybody was just on the edge of their seat. But on positive side of news, JT Compher was practicing as well. I think he was pretty close to returning tonight. He still didn't go, but he should be back soon.
Huge.
He's our second center, and he's a massive part of this team. Very underrated signing from Steve-O.
Yeah, the
Looks good in there.
Steve-O. Yeah,
Looks good in that move.
Look at you go. How's that one? Press one again. One.
Let's go.
Do you know the story of Wally Pipp?
I do not.
And it sounds like it's like a cartoon character, Wally Pipp.
Oh no,
I've heard Wally Pipp before.
Oh yeah,
but it does sound like a cartoon. Can I give some breaking news?
Of course.
It's not really breaking right now, no, but just breaking news today. Did you guys see the big news in Detroit Lions? We'll play a video later.
I think so, man. You're teasing me.
We'll play the video later. I'll make sure I clip it and put it in our Slack. CJ Gardner-Johnson is back, baby. The man is back.
Medically cleared to practice.
Got their
Start
swagger
number 1.
back a little bit, yeah.
How cool is that? I mean,
my gosh.
That's just that first step. Hopefully that 21-day window opens up next week. He's not playing this weekend, but...
What did I say 2 days ago? I sat in this chair. It was a different chair because this one's really short. I sat in a taller chair, and I said, don't be surprised within the next week if you see an alert come through your phone that said CJ Gardner-Johnson's 21-day return period has been turned on. And that's exactly what's about to happen within the next week. They came out today. He put that post on, which we did speak about that yesterday in our kind of opening statements. He did put the post up that basically gave the idea that he was cleared. And then all of a sudden, today, the press conference, it came out that Dan Campbell was like, hey, someone asked him it. He said, yep, ready to go. And then even on top of that, he was like, he made the joke that he's not going to play this week, but he might be back next week.
Yeah.
I think all that's going to, and people have to understand this. You guys all have to understand, a guy like him, he's been out for so long. It's going to take a couple weeks.
Yeah,
he's not going to play right away.
He's gonna be bugging as a friendly bug. He's gonna be a pest to those coaches.
Yeah,
they're saying you got to play me in this Vikings game this week. I got to play. I don't see him playing before Dallas. He's got to get his legs under him. The last thing you want, especially a guy like that, who if he steps on the field, it's 150%. You don't want any re-injury. You don't want him to just get injured because he hasn't played. This is preseason game number 1 for him.
I think Dallas is that game.
I think he's the type of guy you need back. Like we're gonna need a little bit of edge. I say edge as in like intensity, aggression. We need CJ Gardner-Johnson for that game.
Yeah,
CD Deuce.
That's the big game. It changes a lot too with this defense because even us here, we have a segment later today that talks about this secondary and kind of what this secondary is going to do with Aaron Glenn. Like how much is he going to change? With CJ Gardner-Johnson coming back, like you don't have to sit here and worry about certain guys. Like he's the vocal leader of that defense. He's the heart of that defense. He is the main. Like, yes, Hutch might be the best player, but Hutch isn't vocal like CJ. Hutch isn't, like, to me, not that leader like CJ. you're missing that right now on your defense, and then you could. It's starting to show a little bit.
Yes.
And not just a little bit. It's starting to show a lot. So I'm excited. That gives, and all those people who are like, oh, like, I've been very, very steady when it comes to, hey, this defense has struggled, yes, but if they can just get by and the Lions can get in the playoffs with a 2 or 3 seed, and you add on James Houston, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, things can get scary.
Yes.
Very quick.
In the locker room today, I spent a couple minutes. I got to catch up with Chris Smith, the new defensive tackle, who they just signed to the practice squad. And most, if like 90% of the conversation, he was just raving about Bruce Irvin and Tyson Alualu, just talking about the type of mentorship that he's bringing to the defensive line and the linebacker group. He said it blew him away, helping all of them, from Aiden to him on the practice squad. Like, those are two guys. I don't know if we're going to see the effects immediately, although we kind of did with Bruce Irvin. We're going to see that mentor, as long as they continue just getting better, get to the playoffs. We're going to see this team and hopefully this defensive line just continue to improve for that playoff run.
In the Woodward Sports chat, appreciate you guys all tuning in. The Doc, John Macaroon, said Chris Smith said he really felt upset that Matt talked to him today.
Doc trolls me. And Doc's the freaking man.
What happened?
Like, very first day we were in the locker room, who did I talk to? Antoine. No, I went up to Dylan Drummond. Doc pulls me aside. He goes, dude, he said you're just like a really bad interview. Like, he said something just as a joke, but Doc's the man.
Awesome.
Chris did not say that.
And he's saying, I'm hearing Chris Smith hates Broder. Hey, it's interesting. Hey,
He might.
Doc, shoot me a message, or I'll give you my number. Shoot me a text whenever something happens bad with Broder.
Yeah.
I'll go in the
You're going to get a text every day.
I'll replace him. I'll go in there and I'll take a couple of questions. I'll throw some questions out there.
Yeah.
Booner.
As long as the social teams keeps following the rules.
Let's go.
Hey, man.
There we go.
We've
Back
been lockstep recently, right?
Booner, I know you mentioned
All right,
Hutch.
make sure.
I know you mentioned Hutch not being that dog on the defense like we all want him to be. It kind of took Sewell up until like year 2. By the end of it, he started to become that vocal leader before the games and everything to get the team pumped up. I would like to see that from Hutchinson on his side of the ball, really take leadership in charge and put the defense on his back to become that leader.
I like that.
I know he hasn't been that as a rookie, and we haven't seen it so far in year 2, but I know all the guys in that locker room respect him. If he can get the voice out there and really just take charge, I think it'll be a massive touch for this D.
Great point. It doesn't seem like he's that kind of vocal guy.
Well, he's not. I actually
saw
think
it at Michigan.
What was that?
I saw it at Michigan.
Yeah, I think he can be that. The defense is so dominated by Alex Anzalone. Was it Kirby Joseph? Cam Sutton's a vocal leader too. Not necessarily on the field. He's not the talker, the chirper, but behind the scenes, he's that veteran cornerback who's just like. So I think it's a lot Anzalone. And then some other guys sprinkled in. So Hutch is on that way up. He'll be that guy.
It does make a big difference too, I guess. And to your point, Nick, like a guy like Hutch, who's the best player on your team, and like at some points this year he was a defensive player of the year candidate. Like you're expecting him to do that next year and the year after and the year after. I guess that you have that kind of player on your team, a high caliber player, you would want him to be able to be that vocal guy. Like I'm sure TJ Watt's extremely vocal. I'm sure Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald, like those guys are extremely vocal on their teams. And I'm sure like it would make a hell of a difference, especially a guy on the D line for how bad they've been playing, for him to speak up a little bit.
Yeah. And I'm not saying this has happened, but this is where a guy like Bruce Irvin can instill that. Like maybe we see it as watchers of the team, but Bruce Irvin's in there. He's like, all right, this is the time. You can teach leadership. It's inside of Aiden Hutchinson. Now it's about his confidence, all that coming out. And I don't know if maybe his performance or lack of sacks or something. All right, I don't have that trust in my teammates yet, or they don't have that trust in me. Who knows? Whatever the reason is. He's got the right people around him. I do expect Aiden to be that guy eventually for this team.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I don't know how you guys feel about this. I'm interested to see the next year because obviously CJ's on this 1-year deal. If you look at the 3 levels of the defense, Hutch, Anzo, and then CJ, if you have those guys returning next year, I'm going to be in the camp of let AG kind of coach those guys up.
Yeah.
As much as I'm like, I know like, hey, he's been struggling, AG's been tough. But I'm going to be on that camp a little bit to where let AG go out there and cook with those 3 guys and kind of keep building this offense or this defense.
Definitely.
Right.
Tune into Woodward and Maine Saturday morning, 8 a.m. I'll be there with Terry Foster, Detroit legend, and Gabrielle D. Phillips previewing the game. And Nick is going to tell you about Big Boy.
Wintertime in Detroit. with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmesan or the new Southern Comfort chicken bowl. How about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. The classic lumberjack or the Santa Fe garden. Also, new apple pie hotcakes that are too good to miss. Top it all off with the new gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by your local Big Boy today.
And tell you about Jack Labrador that was born in a cold winter basement in Detroit. There were 3 buddies who wanted more out of rock, paper, scissors. They dug deep and struck gold with Jack Labrador. They got 2 new symbols and a 3-point play. So once you go Jack, you'll never go back. Make sure I say that right. 1 deck of cards, 3 new games of nonstop action. It's the perfect no-brainer stocking stuffer for all ages. Scan the QR code above or go to jacklabrador.com to get your deck today.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
All right, Outdoor Equipment Company, let's talk about it. It is the official equipment provider of the Woodward Sports Network. They are Michigan grown, family owned, bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, and even weed whippers. They have Liberty trailers, Generac generators, Snow X plows and salters. Outdoor Equipment Company, they have it all. You can buy it, rent it, 0% financing, delivery right to your doorstep. That is over at OutdoorEquipCo.com. All right, welcome back in to Woodward Nights, baby, on the with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in here today. It is a Thursday, and you know what I forgot? There's Thursday night football.
Oh, yeah.
Thursday night football. I don't know. Did they already start? They started at 0-0 Chargers at Raiders. Do you want to just do a quick, and everyone in the chat put who you think's going to win the game? Brutal game. I think it's just backups playing. Do you guys even want to do a
Let's do
prediction?
it.
Whatever, let's do it. Why not?
All right, Nick, I'll start with you real quick. Who do you have winning the game?
Let's go. I'm going to go with our guy Max Crosby and the Raiders. Let's go. We have that Defensive Player of the Year slip still. He had 2 last week. I think he needs to have like 20-plus sacks for that to hit. So I'm going with it. Let's ride it out.
Ride it out, baby.
Love it. Jalen, who are you hitting with today? Chargers or Raiders?
But I'm going to go with the Raiders.
The Raiders?
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't know.
Yeah. But it's some dude named Stick, right? Not like the Stick, same day, but the quarterback for the Chargers, last name Stick, I believe.
Easton Stick.
Yeah, Easton Stick.
He likes sex, too.
Easton the baseball bats, you know?
Easton Stick is his name?
Yeah, I'm so
picking the
serious.
Chargers 100%. His name is Easton Stick?
That got Broder excited.
He's hitting a home run today.
That got Broder excited.
You're going Chargers?
Yeah. His name is Easton Stick. That's got to be one of the coolest names in pro sports.
Okay.
Right with Coco Crisp.
I'm going to do
The
this.
Asian Red Sox legend.
Give me
It is, John.
the Chargers as well.
Let's
go,
go,
the
baby.
Chargers. I like the Chargers.
Who
don't
was
know
the
why.
3-0 game last week? Was that
That
the
was the
Raiders?
Raiders and someone else.
Yeah.
The Vikings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the
Raiders and
Vikings.
That was like the ugliest game.
Yeah. Chargers, baby. Who are tail spinning fast.
How
But
about the Vikings
Easton
quarterback
stick.
situation? Good for us, eh, boys?
Hey, maybe good for us. Who knows?
Dobbs third stringer now. Let's
Who
go.
knows?
they're
man?
going to work him in. They're going to find some way to use him in the game and just mess with our defense.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I'm not nervous, but I'm just a little like, all right, here we go, because that's like a situation to where, and not just Lions, just in the NFL, a guy like that steps in, and I mean, you saw Dobbs for 3 games do that, and now they just like, hey, maybe let's just take a shot at another guy to get 3 games out of him, and
Yeah.
so who
Magic
knows?
is real.
All right, let's do this. Let's hop into the Lions Broncos a little bit. I want to start with the injury report here from practice today. There was a lot of different things. Obviously, the C.J. Gardner-Johnson stuff that we just spoke about. But then we have the injury report here. You see it there. This is kind of official for the game Sunday, obviously, or Saturday. Obviously, Saturday, 90 minutes before the game, I believe it is, the official
Yes.
one will come out. But as of right now, for the game, Hendon Hooker, no go. Taylor Decker, questionable. Benito Jones, questionable, and Josh Reynolds, questionable, and then the biggest one too as well to me, Frank Ragnow is questionable.
I hope this is little gamesmanship being played. Like, hopefully they're all ready to go.
Yeah.
And they've had nagging injuries. There's nothing wrong with this, but maybe they're not. All right, Taylor Decker, we're not going to say that you're a full go yet. So they got to think, okay, are they going to put Penei Sewell over there? Are they going to have Colby at left guard? Are they, whatever
very
the
interesting.
combination, like this is. I hope, to be honest, I hope that there's a little gamesmanship with this. But nonetheless, the fact that Taylor Decker is not out already, the fact that he was full practice today, limited yesterday after being out on Tuesday, it's good news.
Yeah, and Dan did mention in the press conference today, and if you guys were all wondering, kind of a Taylor Decker update, he did kind of come out and say, Frank, it was a Frank Ragnow update. He said, hey, we're going to know more by the end of today. We have to see at practice if this is going to be a lingering thing or if it's good to go. So I'm guessing tomorrow. I don't know if they have any press conferences tomorrow.
They do not.
Or kind of how they're going to go about releasing another injury update tomorrow. But I do believe you're going to find out tomorrow if Frank's a go or not.
Yeah.
That's at least my opinion. I hope he is, because I'm still very convinced in regards to like this whole situation with Jared Goff and these weapons and the turnovers. I still think there's something a lot to do with this offensive line struggle in the last 4 weeks. And I think that's kind of not talked about enough, is that, with Taylor's injuries kind of lingering a little bit, Frank Ragnow being out a little bit, Jonah being out a couple weeks back, just constantly going through different guys, Big V, that long-term injury. So there's just things like that to me where I'm interested to see this Saturday. And we're going to get into it next as Lions-Broncos, but this is something you have to dominate up front in this game. And that's just a fact.
You do.
You have to dominate up front, and this offensive line is going to be, to me, the kind of the key factor and kind of the main to me, the biggest matchup of this game.
Yes. And remember yesterday when Parker Gabriel was on, beat writer for the Denver Post covering the Broncos, he talked about Nick Bonito. I believe that's Nick Bonito, linebacker for the Broncos in his second year, starting to play well or come into his own as a player. He's been banged up. He is out for the game. He's already officially ruled out. So they have other players, they have other playmakers, but he is one of those who is on the rise. So he's out, and their tight end, who they were thinking might come back, Greg Dulcich, not going to play either. He is officially ruled out. There are a couple other questionables. PJ Locke, a DB, who's actually, he's been decent for them too. We'll see. A couple other unspecified game statuses that the Broncos have. So we're going to learn a lot. Actually, I don't know with the Saturday game when we're going to learn about everybody, but
Yep.
We'll learn in the next 36 hours.
I think my guess is typically on a Sunday game, like Saturdays. I might text you on like some Saturdays, because randomly throughout a Saturday, there's another report that comes out, and then 90 minutes before, they're usually on Sunday. So I think tomorrow there's going to be a random report that comes out, and you're going to get another update on Frank. Who was this in the chat? Eduardo knows. Or Eduardo O'Neill. Sorry, my nose. Stuff's going around. My nose is stuffed.
Oh, is
so
it?
if I sound weird,
Dude, that's what we need out of the defensive line, though. We need them to just stuff them.
if I sound weird, I apologize. I just went to go talk there, and it just. But Eduardo O'Neill said Frank is key on the O line. I think he helps Goff dissect the D line and kind of what's going on.
Oh yeah,
I agree with that. I think that was something last week that they missed. I love Graham, but him moving around, it's like that was going to be a liability at some point, especially with your one of your second best offensive lineman, Frank Ragnow, out. If you guys look, Frank, I mean, centers make calls. Like
top 3 centers. I mean, he's
Yes.
as good as anybody in the entire league. And as important and as good as Penei Sewell is as the best.
The center is the most important. Like, I know the left tackle or the tackle, but
those
the
are
center. Like, have you guys ever listened to Jason Kelsey break down what he does? Like, I watched a video on it and break down, and he's the best in the game at it. But he breaks down. He's going, I'm talking blitzes. I'm talking who's on the D line. I'm making moves. I'm calling out coverages for the offensive line. I'm calling out. I'm doing silent count. I'm doing the responsibility for a center is almost like, it's not as much as a quarterback, but you're sitting there and you're affecting the game in an insane way. So when you bring out a top 3 center in the NFL and you throw a guy like Graham in who hasn't, he barely plays center, like, there's going to be an issue there. That's definitely going to make a difference. So I think Just a Fan said, Booner, you always sound weird. Thank you, Just a Fan. It's probably because I'm always yelling.
Let him cook.
Let him cook.
You love listening to me, though, Just a Fan.
Just a Fan does love you.
Yeah.
I love you, Just a Fan.
All right, let's hit break. When we come back, we're going to just start diving into this Broncos game. I've got some stuff about the running backs and the Denver defense that I want to talk about. Real quick, let me tell you guys, though, about the Woodward Sports Lions post-game show. Do not want to miss this. Sometimes we do it at Hamlin Pub, depending on the week, but this week, I think we're doing it in studio directly after the Lions game, so it will be a very, very late night. But they're going to be taking callers. That's Mass and Stick breaking down the whole Lions game on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
And if you're, what? Oh, yeah. Hey, dreaming of a new home? But you're feeling the financial pinch here in the holiday season. Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, $5K. Call Mark White and Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Just in time for football. Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good, it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It is a gassy, aggressive strain named in the honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you are missing out. So smooth. Find them at Dispo Dispensary for 25% off, or check them out online at www.canna.com.
All right, welcome into Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're on the YouTube, as you guys come in, and if you haven't yet, hit that like button for us. Let's keep this thing rolling here. Let's try and get up to 50 likes. I don't know what our like record is, but maybe we'll hit it today. Maybe we'll get that.
Let's get over 125 during the show.
That'd be amazing.
Come on.
That'd be awesome. Real
Nick,
quick, breaking news.
Yeah, you said there's something. You told me not to search anything for the Tigers. There's some breaking news.
Oh, I didn't know you said that. I started searching right away.
Detroit Tigers have signed Jack Flaherty, career 3.75 ERA, former St. Louis Cardinal. He had a down year last year. It's a 1-year contract worth up to $15 million. Let's see if Broder's old teammate can work some magic on him, Chris Fetter. Broder, first thoughts?
Oh yeah, Fetter. I don't know a ton about Jack Flaherty. I remember the name, but he didn't do very well last season. I'll do some research on him, but hey, a 1-year deals for Pitt. Like they're building this for they see something in him to get him this year. He's an insurance policy probably for see where Casey Mize comes back. Terrace Skubal gets back into form.
Feels like they're just like kind of building up that bullpen a little bit.
Yeah, he's 28 years old, but he's a veteran. And if you come from the Cardinals developed their pitch, like they've got a good organization, so there's got to be something good about him. But you said career 3.75 ERA, not bad.
Think you got the yips a little bit. We'll see if Flaherty can get it, or
Nick, we got to work on your salesmanship. You tell me this signing, and you say he had an off year.
He had a 5 ERA.
A couple years ago, I'm going to give you a little positives here. A couple years back, he was 4th in the NL Cy Young voting, just behind Max Scherzer.
4 years ago?
I think it might have been 3 or 4 years ago. So there's that potential there. I don't know, and I'm going to learn a lot this upcoming spring when it comes to baseball from you.
Can't wait.
But my guess, kind of, if you look at other sports, it's a 28-year-old kid that at one point was top 5 in the Cy Young voting. I'm guessing there's some potential there, and maybe he's not going to be a starting pitcher. He's going to be
maybe out of the bullpen or something.
Bullpen guy, yeah.
But you're right, and actually, I was messing with Nick. But when you have a down year, this guy is motivated. A 1-year contract means he starts the year in his contract year too, so he's motivated to pitch well. And if he was that high, if he had worked his way up to Cy Young worthiness, he knows he's got something in there. I hope he gets back just as a pitcher.
That would be nice.
That would be great.
That would be nice.
There's a lot of potential with this Tigers team.
I'm pumped. I can't wait till we're able to start talking about it more. I don't know. I think I saw something that was like 60 days maybe until pitchers and catchers reported or something like that.
It sneaks up
Time
fast.
to sign a hitter and talk about heavy hitters. I know you guys got some great Lions topics coming up. Let's see it.
Nick's
a freaking G.
It's that King's hat. Take that hat off, man.
Oh, he's giving me a different vibe, I swear.
What are we doing with that hat on?
Oh, Wayne Gretzky.
Lions football.
Lions, baby. Let's do it. All right, let's get into it here. We're going to talk about this Lions-Broncos matchup Saturday, 8:15 p.m. We already broke it down a little bit yesterday. I talked to the beat reporter, Parker, about that over at the Denver Post. I thought he had some interesting things to say about it. I want to rewatch that tonight and tomorrow morning. So when we kind of get into our pregame stuff tomorrow, I want to be able to kind of touch on some things he talked about.
Yes.
Biggest thing I want to speak about, though, here today, and I'll bring this up to you, Broder, and then I'll go to you after this as well for any key matchups that you have. One thing that stands out to me a ton, and Parker this is something he did actually bring up yesterday, was this Broncos run defense. And this is something that the Lions, they have been good with obviously this running back duo that they have right now, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think this is the key to the game. That's why I started the show off last segment with the offensive line, is I wanted to lead it into this point to where Ben Johnson, he needs to just focus, it's time to get back to your bread and butter. Get back to running the ball, establishing the run, just hammering it down their throats, just going at them. And that's where I'm at with this is
pause.
Pause. Sorry, I don't know.
No, I like that. I use
but
things
it's just
like that all the time.
You have one of the best running back duels in the NFL. It's time to use it. And I heard on the heavyweights they talked about, Easy brought up that last game, each of them had 60 rushing yards, and then all of a sudden they went away from it. And I think it was because obviously they were losing, so they're like, oh, maybe we need. But you saw that first Bears game, even when they were down, they were like, let's keep running, and they ended up coming back. I think they've gone away. That's something they've gone away from the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Actually, I think they got predictable, and this is part of the Ben Johnson conversation. Yeah. And I'm not down on Ben Johnson, but I think he's gotten a little bit predictable, and that leads to 2nd and long and 3rd and long, and that leads to tough situations for your quarterback. So it all starts with that run game. It's all, you were talking about offensive line, run game. That is the heart and soul of the team. That's where they need to build off of. For whatever, whether you want to talk about Jared Goff or the wide receiver crew or whatever, it all works the best if you can establish that run game early and often.
Yeah, that's just, to me, when I break down this game and the first couple things I look at, that just stands out on the paper to me. They are literally, the Denver Broncos are dead last in rushing yards given up a game. Dead last in the NFL. And your Detroit Lions right now, I believe, are 5th in the NFL, rushing for about almost 140 yards per game.
Oh, yeah.
And they're giving up 144, which is like the worst in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I think, like, if you do want to win this game, and we could, to be honest, we all get caught up in this, and I do all the time, like seeing Ben Johnson, like, get the ball to J-Mo, get the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown, get it to Laporta. Let's take some deep shots. We want to see these beautiful plays. To be honest, you have the best offensive line in the NFL when they're healthy. You have the best running back duo in the NFL when they're healthy. You're going up against the worst rush defense in the NFL on Saturday night. Just go win the game. I don't care about I really don't care if J-Mo has any receiving yards. I don't care if Sam Laporta has any receiving yards. I don't care if Amon-Ra St. Brown goes out there and has 0 receiving yards. If running the ball wins you the football game on Saturday, go rush for 200 yards on this defense.
Yes.
This is the worst rushing defense in the NFL. The worst. Dead last. And you have the best running back duo in the NFL. Go out there, put 200 rushing yards up on these guys, and go and just win the football game. That's all that matters. I don't care about the spread. I don't care about anything. If the Detroit Lions just need to go out, leave Saturday night with one more point than the Denver Broncos, and the way they're going to do that is establishing the run and just giving the ball and letting those guys just push them forward. Like that's the key to this game tomorrow.
Yes, and there's also nothing that would make Dan Campbell happier than winning because of the run game, winning in the trenches. When you're going up against your mentor, you're waxing on and you're waxing off. Like Dan Campbell, if they win this game and have a dominant effort in the trenches, that's Dan Campbell establishing himself in the league. That's him sending a message to his old coach. Like we did it my way, like the gritty way, the tough way with the offensive line. So it's just a little added extra incentive to win it with the run game. But
yep.
I agree with you 100% because everything starts with that run game. The Denver Broncos defense, their run stats are slightly inflated because of that Miami Dolphins game, but they'd be bottom 3 regardless.
They'd be one of the worst in the league at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And even when we spoke with the Broncos beat reporter Parker from the Denver Post about it, he literally said, your guys is one of your best assets you guys have right now is your offensive line and those running backs you have.
Yes.
And he was like, that's our biggest worry in Denver right now is you guys have that run game and our rush defense is that bad. And I think, Dan, I'm hoping and I'm praying that Ben Johnson, they kind of see the same thing that we do. And I'm sure they do because they watch film all day. On top of that, you know what that helps as well? Takes away those turnovers. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to worry about Jared Goff going deep and throwing it into that secondary. And obviously there's going to be times where you do, but it's limited amount of times that you can kind of take the ball out of his hands and do that. I truly believe that's going to help. That's the key to this game.
Yeah, and there were just David Montgomery's fumbled, I think, twice this year. I think Jahmyr Gibbs has had. They both dropped a couple passes, so they're in the turnover game too. They need to keep their hands on the balls, but you're 100% right. And Eduardo O'Neal reminded me, or he made a good point. The Broncos play a lot of man on defense, so that plays into the advantage of a speedy offense. So whether maybe it's Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe it's J-Mo or Khalif, you can use your speed to get to the outside instead of having to pass to the outside. Find ways to get to the outside, get to the edges, and let them run.
Yeah, hey. I'm excited to see what this all.
Yes.
I'm excited just this whole matchup. Like I said yesterday, Broder, it feels like the nerves for this game feels like week 1.
Yeah,
I feel like we're in week 1 again. Just because it's like this is a winner. To me, it's not a winner go home because you're going to have a chance still. But this is like the season's on the line. You can either reset the tone at home or you can kind of just fold up and kind of end it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this game.
Like
I don't know
taco.
what's going to happen.
Nick.
Totally agree with you on that point. Red Wings 1-1, baby. Michael Rasmussen, Nets 1, ties it up for the Red Wings 1-1. Andrew Kopp and Jonathan Bergeron with the assist.
Wow.
Great pull up from him. Besides the Wings, I did totally agree with that fact about the line.
I was so confused, I'm not going to lie.
It brings you back to week 1 because that's how massive this game is. It feels like this whole entire 4-game stretch, this way or this way? Which way are we going with it, you know? And if this starts on the hot note with Denver and then those 2 games against Minnesota and those quarterbacks, I like where we're gonna be at the. If we win this, we got to start hot.
This is huge.
Yeah.
This is
Real
huge.
quick, too, Eduardo in the chat said if you don't win this one, you have to sweep Minnesota for the division. I don't believe that. I did see kind of an analytics chart yesterday, and it showed that if you beat the Vikings once and you lose the rest of your games, so go 1-3, and one of your wins is to the Vikings, the Detroit Lions still have a 70% chance of winning the division. And especially with them having a backup quarterback, so if you basically beat them once, you're almost there. 70% chance. I'll take those odds.
Beat it
for sure. So
need to beat it. Let me tell you about Feldman. Because since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been providing a world-class, first-class automotive buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. They have over 18 dealerships, so there's got to be one in your backyard. Just visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you and check out Woodward Sports at their Novi dealership every other Monday. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. But Booner, tell them about
Guardian Alarm, a great defense, and that is Guardian Alarm. Customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians, they take the time to recommend security and automation solutions that are specific to your needs. That is 24/7 professional monitoring. You can give them a call anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian Alarm team member, they will stay on the phone as long as needed. That is technology that is backed by people where your safety and security deserves technology that has been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Make sure that number right there for a great defense. I want everyone right now to call and have a great defense. That is 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Just visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks or order online at fairwaypacking.com.
All right, welcome in to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in here. If you guys can, hit that like button for us. Look at these beautiful puppies behind us. Meow. Beautiful, beautiful puppies. All right, this segment here, you texted me about this a couple days ago, actually, Broder, and we had it in yesterday, and we were not able to get to it. It was the section that we had to cut out because of having the beat reporter on.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a great segment, and I'm going to let you kind of cook on this, and I'll kind of give my thoughts as this goes. But the initial thing, and kind of I'll preface what it is, Ben Johnson. Obviously, the offense hasn't been up to par to what we've seen it in the past. We've seen this offense be the best in the NFL in certain weeks. And just recently, it just kind of not fallen off, but you could feel that the
hiccups are outrageous.
Does Nick just mute you when you're about to hiccup? Does he know?
No.
You looked at him. You looked at him like he was like good. Like
Well,
nice,
Every
dude.
time,
He
because
hears everything.
if he doubles up, I'll get him on the second one.
He hears everything.
You do
like,
hiccup in threes.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I.
The penguin squalls the squeaker, and every time he talks, he's like, but it's like you. It's like every
Now
night.
I gotta go watch that.
Every night, it's just like. All right, let's move on. Ben Johnson, though. The question with this kind of offense situation, and you brought up a point here, and you're in the building, so you have an idea. It seems like Ben Johnson with this is trying to get the ball to all these different guys, and the narrative around and Sam Laporta had an interview the other day where he spoke about it, to where it's like there's so many weapons on this team, and Ben has it's hard. Like he has to find a way to get the ball in all these guys' hands, and we see everyone complaining about J-Mo, and then I'm sure once you get J-Mo the ball, people are going to be like, why isn't Josh Reynolds playing up to par? And then when that happens, it's like, why is Amon-Ra St. Brown not? And it's just, to me, it could be a continuous thing. And you text me and you were like, do you think there might be too many weapons to where they're just kind of like Ben's overthinking what's going on right now?
I hadn't come to a conclusion of my own or decision, but the thought popped into my head just with the sort of lack of innovation these last couple weeks, or the lack of creativity in getting J-Mo the ball and getting Donovan Peoples-Jones the ball, and pair that with DPJ. He's relatively new to the offense, and J-Mo technically too, but we've seen him elevate his game. All the other things that they've wanted J-Mo to do, he's done over the last 5, 6, 7 weeks. So I don't think it's a problem, but what I don't understand, they couldn't get it to Amon-Ra St. Brown, or he didn't have his best game against the Bears. They couldn't get it to Sam Laporta, and it seemed like without those two, there was no rhythm, there was no flow to the offense. And again, it's partially on Goff, it's partially on the run game, the offensive line, but it seems, when I think about the weapons on the offense, and I'm going to throw Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery in the pass game, but when you think of those two, J-Mo, Khalif Raymond, DPJ, Josh Reynolds, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, like that's, what is that, 7, 8 guys? Like that, those are 8 guys that I would love to see the ball in any of their hands. Like Josh Reynolds might be the least playmaker of the group, and he's arguably been the okay, he's not more reliable than Amon-Ra or Sam Laporta, but early in the season he was
the third guy.
Yes, and Jared Goff trusts him. So it's like, why didn't they get the ball to J-Mo more? Why hasn't DPJ been involved in the offense more than one target? You're right, he wants to spread around, but it's one target here, 2 here. Like, why isn't there a 5 for?
So this is I think a good example. Eduardo put in here, said my issue is that San Fran has many weapons and they get the ball to their guys. This is a thing though too as well, is take away CMC, right? For the last 3 years, San Fran's been playing with those same guys, with Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle.
Very true.
So they have been, they know what they kind of have. And at the end of the day, Shanahan has been there he's been the head coach for a while, and he's their play caller. So he kind of knows, he's been within all of that. The Lions are in a little bit different, and then when you add CMC to that as a running back, that's different. You know what I mean? But when you're looking at this Lions offense, they do have all of that. But at the end of the day, it's if you do break it down, Ben Johnson, right? He's just added J-Mo in technically full time within the last 6-7 weeks because of the suspension. He's Jahmyr Gibbs. Yes, Jahmyr Gibbs has been here all year, but about halfway through the year is when he really started to take off, and you're able to start using him more. So he's been trying. Like, I get that point. But when you're just kind of looking at this, I do see kind of where you come a little bit to where it's like, I'm wanting J-Mo to get 3 or 4 targets a game.
Yes,
I want that. Like you need to see that. And Jahmyr Gibbs, you need to see him out of the backfield more. So I like that point that you made there, Broder, in regards to that.
And you're right. As strong as the 49ers' top 3-4 guys are, like I'd argue the Lions have a deeper wide receiver group. They have deep, like, you can't argue with Kittle and Debo, and I love Brandon Ayuk. I think he's one of the best number 2s.
Very good.
He could be a 1 on a lot of teams, but he's just a perfect number 2. He's like a Josh Reynolds on steroids, but not literally on steroids. But it sort of ends at, I do like Juwan Jennings, but like, when we're talking Khalif, we're talking J-Mo, we're talking DPJ, we're talking like there are so many guys, and they're not the guys who are going to cause problems in the locker room if they don't get it. But I do know J-Mo wants the ball, and I know we want to get him the ball. I think Khalif should get the ball more. Like if we're not using him in the punt game or the kick game, like that just doesn't happen in the NFL really anymore. So find a way to get the playmakers the ball. As good as I'm never complaining about Sam Laporta or Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's money. But when they take away the middle of the field, what are you going to do?
Do you know what's interesting too? They mentioned it in the press conferences today. I think it was actually J-Mo who mentioned it. Is he kept bringing this up. 1, being consistent, these receivers being consistent. But 2, he kept bringing up how Ben Johnson and them, they're starting to kind of emphasize just getting back to the basics. And I think actually Amon-Ra St. Brown as well. He was asked, and you were there, you spoke with him, to where he as well said something similar to where it was like, like we were so good the first 6-7 weeks on offense, and we weren't doing anything too, like we were just doing basic stuff, and then they started getting away from that, and that was kind of what he touched on today, is like they tried to get into all these different things. Maybe when Jambo came back and Gibbs started going off and Laporta's going off, and you're like, let's try all these different. It might be like, hey, let's just get back to the basics. Let's go back to what we were just doing the first couple of weeks. It's as easy as that sounds. Like, if you establish the run and the run game's going, then you're able to rely on Jared Goff and that offense a little bit more. And you're able to kind of work that in and get back. I think it's as simple as that.
100%.
If I'm being honest.
No, I agree. And it's how to do that. This is Ben Johnson's decision. Do that. Get simple again. Get back to basics, while other coaches are able to adjust to you. They've adjusted to Ben Johnson a little bit. I still trust his mind. I think he'll find a way to get back ahead of everybody. But this stretch is Ben Johnson's name should be in there too of not playing his best last couple of games, and I think he needs to. He needs to start mixing things up, or like you said, get back to basics.
It's easy, like when things are going bad in any profession, or like even just in sports. In basketball, when I would be coaching, like when things are bad, you start really overthinking things, and you try to throw all these new offenses in, and all these new sets, and outs, like for basketball, sideline out of bounds, and different blobs, and different, like, just you try all these different things to get things back on track. And sometimes it's as simple as, hey, let's just like have a week of practice where we're just back to where we were. Let's go back to square one. Let's just do what we started and what we're really good at. That's what it seemed like. Amon-Ra St. Brown the last 2 weeks. He said today, and we have an Amon-Ra St. Brown segment, so I don't want to get too much, but he even said, like, teams aren't really doing much different things to him. Like, it's just like we've been trying all these different things on offense, and that's where like you start getting these 3 and outs.
Yeah,
like
and
you're trying to implement all these like boom, 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 boom.
You get a team like the Bears who can rush 4 and get pressure. Then you don't have to do much different on Amon-Ra St. Brown because they got enough guys in the secondary to cover everyone. So all of this is a team effort, and it seems like the entire team has played their worst couple games. There have been players in certain instances, but you're right. And like Eduardo said, he's on fire today. We're talking about Eduardo a lot.
Yeah, I've used 2 of his comments today.
It is about matchups. So, and that's sort of where I was getting at. If you can't get the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown as consistently in the pass, or Sam Laporta, like that means they are focused on him in some way. How are you going to get the ball? Like, J-Mo is a mismatch to everyone. Let's just call it what it is. How are you going to create a mismatch out of Jahmyr Gibbs? Like, that's why you drafted him. He's a mismatch nightmare. So just figure out a way. I trust Ben Johnson. That's why I'm optimistic about the end of the season. It's just he doesn't have much time. Like, it's gotta happen in this game.
It's gotta happen soon. I try something, and the thing too is it's very frustrating that you're going into this after this 4-game stretch of turnovers, and the Broncos they force the most turnovers. And Ben, like the comments he made yesterday that we talked about, was he's like, I have full trust in Jared. We want him to keep making those throws that he has been. That's where I'm like, let's just simplify it.
Yeah.
Let him make the easy throws, especially versus a team like this on Saturday night. You're at home, build the momentum up, and let's just move on from it. Like, run the ball, pass, run. Like,
this may be that game they win the toss, give us the ball. Let's go. We got to get our offense back on there as fast as possible.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? Booner's been bringing that up. It might be one of those times. Although maybe you said the defense, but the same concept. Get it? We got something to fix. We got something to fix. Get back on track. Let's take it. Be confident.
Do it right away.
Yes. Hey, that's it. Ben Johnson. Let's go,
boy.
Boy.
The tip and take the ball.
What happened?
I don't like when we kick off first. I don't like that.
Yeah, in the last. It's been the last 3.
It used to work, but like we haven't been as strong on offense. So like you said, us getting the ball first, scoring first, that gives us a little leverage.
Yeah.
Because we haven't been the hottest team. We have our droughts in the third quarter. After we start off strong, like I don't want Denver to have any leverage because they might be the hottest team in football outside of Dallas. So you don't want them getting any type of confidence and momentum, especially with the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, and I think it's all 3, but it might be 2 of the last 3 games. Definitely the Chicago Bears in this previous game have asked for the ball. They won the toss, and they were like, give it. Like, we want the ball. We want to test your defense. And I think it's 3 straight. I guess not in the Saints game, but Packers and the Bears. And actually the Bears 4 games ago, they drove it down first drive of the game. A big play in the drive. They went down. They showed our defense up.
Yep.
On the very first drive of the game. That's something that can't happen.
That Bears one was brutal. Like, that was the conversation that we had. And when they got the ball, That was the one that really made me mad too, because Hutch could have had the sack on 3rd down, and I brought that up. It's like on those big downs, man. Like you have to find a way to get the job done.
Yes,
it's the same thing on offense. Like a 3rd and 2, it's like. I guess Dan does just go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, but
in certain scenarios, it's
that's
like
part of the play calling, and that's part of what Ben Johnson was talking about. In the last couple of weeks, they haven't executed on 2nd down to get a 3rd and medium or a 3rd and short or a 3rd and 7, where then they can call a play because they know they're going to go for it on 4th down to get a 4th and 2 instead of a 4th and 6 or a 4th and 10. So it all starts with. You got to get a chunk of yards on the 1st and 2nd. They got to get to a 3rd and short, and then that whole playbook is open because they have 2 plays. Yep. They're not kicking it, and that's a worry I have. Their special teams, and I don't know when we're gonna squeeze it in before the playoffs. I don't know the kickers, man. This isn't the time to talk about it. I texted you earlier. I was like, man, I don't know how we got to talk about this at some point, but like, not having a kicker is going to be a problem.
I was in the back yesterday. And I said, if Dallas can find a guy off the couch and he's the best kicker in the NFL right now, I'm sure there's options out there for the Lions to go out there and get a field goal kicker. There's no way there's not.
You gotta have
like
the confidence.
Riley Patterson, but that you can't sit here and kick 40-yard field goals and 50-yard field goals without being able to say, let's just get out with 3 points and make this keep this a game. Like, that is ridiculous,
and
especially in the playoffs.
And because it's been like that all season now, defenses, you can prepare for a team that's going to play 4 down. You can scheme your defense accordingly. You know they're not going to kick it if it's longer than 40, 45.
It's an issue. All right, Nick.
Yes, sir. 2-1 Carolina. Huso just completely misplayed the puck. He's got the yips right now. 2-1 Carolina. 5 minutes left in the 2nd period.
That man's had the yips for a few months now.
Like Chuck,
just received a text that he recently had his first child, so maybe his sleep and schedule is the
do what
reasoning
Anzalone's doing,
the
sleep in a different bedroom.
Yeah,
you gotta figure it out. You get paid a lot of money.
I think Anzalone makes a little bit more than these hockey players.
And Russ,
yeah, but you still make a lot of money. If I'm making $500 million, I'm gonna make sure I'm on my P's and Q's to make sure things are getting done.
Exactly. I would definitely have somebody.
All right, let me tell you guys here, Planet Fitness. It is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. Over at Planet Fitness, you will experience squeaky clean gyms that has tons of equipment, full-body workouts in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of that for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there are Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in the Metro Detroit area and thousands around the world. See right above me right there? Go to Planet Fitness, $10 a month, where your fitness is essential.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
When it comes to your pet, don't settle. You got to head to Premier Pet Supply to give your pet the best because they are Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. They got 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, the lowest prices, and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com.
All right, welcome back in. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Beautiful, beautiful Thursday night. I have no clue with this game. I think it's 21-0 right now. Brutal.
Raiders.
Brutal.
The Raiders.
A 21-0 game in the first quarter. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in here. If you guys can hit that like button for us, let's get those likes up a little bit.
Easton Stick.
Tyler Chavez said, Booner, I'm reading about it. It says if they continue for 48 hours, there could be underlying issues.
Yeah. It's been going on for like 13 or 14 years.
Yeah, you need to figure out. This might not be good.
They said Bo Jackson had surgery to get his fixed.
I don't know. Surgery. Do we have any surgeons in the chat? Anyone that can help me out?
Can do it for free for them.
Have they ever been checked out?
Put sugar on your tongue and stick in and out until it melts.
I'm going to hold my breath for 5 minutes.
Should I scare you? I did scare you earlier today.
I'm not scared of anything.
I scared you when I walked in the studio
Maybe
today.
that's your problem.
Fun fact, if you guys want to know, Broder comes in here. I'll be in the back working for about like an hour here before the show. And Broder's always up here by himself. And he'll be in the TD booth maybe like setting the stream up or something. I'll just come in just, Broder!
Hey!
And that man gets scared, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
He jumps. I catch him
I don't
off
like
guard.
snakes.
It's like our daily tradition, so he should know it's coming by now.
Sometimes, even if you know what's coming, it surprises you.
What? Ain't that the truth? All right. Let's get into this. Let's get back into the Detroit Lions here. You were in Allen Park today. I want to ask you this before we start playing the video about it, and we have two videos. Vibe around Allen Park. This is like me, like I was saying, Nick kind of touched on it as well. This feels like a kind of a 4-game season right now, and it's a must-win. And what are the kind of vibes? I've got a couple from the videos I watched.
Yeah, and I think the videos are pretty accurate in terms of the vibes. And I think Dan Campbell's press conference was kind of the first. He walked into this press conference, and his eyes were so, like, it was like a locked in. He was a little quieter, and he opened up throughout the press conference a little bit more, but he was a little quieter. He was a little more direct, a little more serious. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, J-Mo too, when they were getting interviewed, the tone went down a little bit. I'm not saying in a negative way, but I think they realized, and having fun is part of it, but I think they realized, shoot, like, we really got to lock it in now. So it was a very focused, serious vibe. They know they got to take care of business here on Saturday.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't want to use that kind of serious vibe. What this is how I took it. Jamison Williams came out and said this as well. Typically, do you guys remember? Do you remember the word that Dan Campbell used after in the post game that he was going to start being more like? He said something, and someone did ask. Like they talked about it, like he's going to be more like strict and locked in and hold guys accountable. The sense I got from J-Mo today and Amon-Ra St. Brown and even Dan when he was on the podium, J-Mo even just said it. Someone asked him, like, what is the room, like the locker room been like? Have you guys been more dialed in? Has Dan had to lock you guys in? And J-Mo just came out and said, no, listen, this week, one, this has probably been the best practice that we've had all week for a full length of the week. But two, every single guy showed up after that loss, and they were dead serious. Guys were motivated. They were out there going at it very hard. And J-Mo came out and basically said, this is kind of different because Dan, like typically a coach would have to come in and be like, we have to turn this thing around. Like, we have to figure this out now. We've been on the back. Like, no, he said, J-Mo said the players themselves, without even anyone saying anything, they came in with that mindset to where it's like, all right, fella, like, we're locked in now. Because this is not, like, they kind of took that on. And I think that's a little bit different. Like, when you look at championship teams, there's, like, these teams that are decent and they're average and coaches kind of bring them along and you can coach them all you want. But when you have the players in on that without the coach even having to do it, and then the coach can do it at some point, but when you have the players bought in like that without having to even say something, that speaks volumes about this football team.
Yes, and that's exactly what Amon-Ra St. Brown echoed too. And to be honest, I there are times, especially if Jamison Williams is talking to Jahmyr Gibbs, I can't even hear what they're saying because I'm holding the camera, I'm standing in a group of people, like there's a lot going on, so sometimes I can't even like hear. But I was able to in the interview with Amon-Ra St. Brown, he said and it's in the video that we have if we want to play it. It's just we were excited to come back into work this week. We knew we have a job to do right now, and our season is on the line. It's not over if they lose, but their season's on the line right here. It's a huge game. So I don't know if you want to start with the Amon-Ra St. Brown clip. You want to?
Let's do it.
Unless you had a different plan.
No, let's hit it because that has to do with everything we're talking about here.
Perfect. Jalen, if you could.
For me personally, I use it as fuel. I can't speak for everyone, but I think us as an offense, we kind of use it as fuel too. Like I said, we know the guys in our room. We know we got a bunch of playmakers, and for us to only put up 13 points is, for us as an offense, that's a disappointment. So, like I said, we were excited to come in this week to work. Go out to practice, do things, do what we do best, get back to the basics, and just play and have fun.
All right, you heard him there, and Broder.
I didn't realize the back to the basics part.
The back to the basics, and they were excited to come in. Those are the two biggest things to me. Someone in the chat here, I can't remember, it's up now ways, mentioned that Dan said he was going to be more irritable this week.
Irritable.
And yelling at guys. And that's what Dan hasn't actually done.
Detroit Arrow.
Yes, and he hasn't had to do that this week, and that's because these guys came in, they were ready to come in. These guys were, I think it was Jalen that said that these guys were yelling at not yelling at each other in a bad way, but they were all going at let's go, let's get this thing rolling, and they took it upon themselves to take that next step. To be honest, when I heard that, when I watched that before the show, that had me very I was like this team's different.
Yeah.
I don't care how bad the defense is. I don't care. For the next 2 or 3 years, this team is different.
Yeah, and that's a side effect. A pleasant side effect of them drafting the players they did, them going after football guys, Dan Campbell guys, or guys that just love ball. They brought that up so many times leading up to the draft and after the draft, talking out these players. It's for reasons like this. It's when things go bad. As long as there's a solid foundation around them, these guys are going to police themselves. The wanting to win, the wanting to get back out on the football field and hit somebody, they don't have to worry about that stuff. That's something other teams do have to worry about, especially when you're going through a bad time, which makes it so great to hear something like that. Why Amon-Ra St. Brown's a captain this year. It's why he's the guy. He might not be, the number one receiver in the NFL or the biggest threat at wide receiver, but he's one of those guys you want to build around.
Congratulations, you just got
couple comments here in the chat. I'm gonna go. Eduardo, take accountability. Tyler Chevet said, I think it's good to hear that MCDC getting more vocal about the standards. See, I think yes, that is great too, but just the fact that these players are being vocal. They're the ones that are stepping up. That's a championships mentality.
They have pride in their workplace and putting out a good product. That's something a lot of companies, just regardless football teams, like that's part of being a team. It's having a mission, having a vision of what's the goal? What are we all playing for? When things go bad, what gets you back on track? What motivates you to keep going? If that doesn't happen, then all the players are just at each other's necks and things go wrong. When little things happen, it gets blown way out of proportion in a locker room that's not together.
When they can trust each other, and that seems like when they went in this week, you just lost, like St. Brown said, they just scored 13 points. This is the best offense in the NFL at points in the season. 13 points is unacceptable. But when they can all go into the locker room and look at each other and be like, hey, this is an issue. Let's talk this out. Let's figure this out. Let's move on and let's go get better and let's grow. Because if you don't do that, this team, all of you guys out there have that narrative that Jared Goff is trash, and as well as that this team can't do anything special. Maybe they're a year or two out. If you just find your way yourself to become a team and do what they're doing right now, build the foundation, that means a lot more than kind of being let's just go win a Super Bowl this year. They're building something that's long term, in my opinion. So Phil said, was there a team meeting? I don't think they did have a team meeting. No. I just think it's just they all showed up ready to work today and yesterday, all week long, and they've been ready, and that's been kind of the thing. Broder, did you have a video though from practice?
Oh yeah, it was just. I forget what they call it. But on Thursdays, or maybe it actually happens normally on Fridays on game weeks, they have a little bit of fun to kick off practice where the offensive linemen are running route. They get to run two fade routes with JT Barrett and some other guys throwing them, but also the wide receivers and running backs were running routes. So this just, if you could, it's a quick clip, Jalen, just of the wide receivers running some routes and the offensive linemen.
Love to see the boys working.
Boys. I think it was the first one, but Gibbs there at the end.
Let's go, man.
I just love seeing those guys out there.
I love it. I wanted to play that, though, because I think the first clip might have been Hendon Hooker to J-Mo.
It was.
Hendon Hooker to J-Mo, boys.
It was.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's hit break. When we come back, we got a little longer segment here. We're doing our kind of every couple of weeks we do a temperature check, go through some of the offensive players, defensive players, coaches, and just kind of get a feeling on how they're going. If they're heading in the right direction or not. I want some of the chat's interaction on that. Real quick, too, the Lions pregame show. Make sure you guys tune into that, the Woodward Sports Lions pregame show, hosted by Jeff Ifrady. This week it'll be Tom Mazaway. Excuse me. And me over there in the Maz chair. Everything's going wrong right now. That will be this Saturday at 5:30 to 7:30. Make sure you guys tune in and do not miss out on the Woodward Sports YouTube. And then you can head over to Hamlin Pub to watch the Lions game. If you ever wanted a bar where you are regular, Hamlin Pub is that place. They have 7 locations around the state here, and it is a place where everyone can be a regular. They have half-off pizza on Thursdays. Game day specials available on all Michigan sports events and NFL games. Hamlin Pub, it is the place to be. Make sure you visit the location today. Great spot. Went there a couple weeks ago. Those wings, greatest wings in the state. Go get them. Check Hamlin Pub out.
Crispy. Hot sauce. Born in a cold winter basement in Detroit, 3 buddies wanting more out of rock, paper, scissors, dug deep and struck gold with Jack Labrador. With 2 new symbols and a 3-point play, once you go Jack, you never go back. 1 deck of cards, 3 new games, non-stop action. It is the perfect no-brainer stocking stuffer for all ages. So scan the QR code above or go to jacklabrador.com to get your deck today.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Do you have football on the brain? Well, winter ushers in college and professional football, and this winter is awesome. Winter is also the perfect time to shop for your home and auto insurance, so shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. So ask for Mark today at SwissINS.com or call 248-800-4177.
Swiss Lions, baby. Welcome back, Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Got a packed show. This is the second hour already. Show's going by quick.
Wait till you see my
show is going. What is that song?
The Whisper song.
Okay, just don't hiccup again.
Whisper here.
Yeah. Don't whisper and hiccup.
Freddie requested it, and what Freddie requests, Freddie gets.
Shout out Freddie, man. Great dude. Hey, appreciate you guys tuning in.
It's kind of hot. It's kind of cold in here. We doing a temperature check?
Temperature check, baby. Hit that like button for us if you guys haven't already. I don't know where we're at here. Let me refresh real quick. Let's see where we're at. We're at 49. Let's get over to 75 here so we can get to 100 by the end of the show. Temperature check, though, Broder. I put them in a certain order here because I wanted to kind of get a feel. And I want to start off, and everyone in the chat, too, put whether you feel like they're hot or cold. Hot obviously means that they're heating up a little bit, kind of things are heading up in the right direction. Cold, things are heading down, and they need to fix it, and they need to turn it around quick.
I'm putting an emoji in there.
All right, love it. Let's start off with this one, though. Broder, I'll go to you first. Dan Campbell. Dan, Dan, I want Dan. I want to hear what you have to say. This is interesting.
There's things he can improve. He's had some things go wrong these last couple weeks too. But I'm going to put him at hot. Like I think this team. I'm confident in this team because of him. And that is more of a feeling. I don't know if I have anything tangible to back that up. But there's just this. It's a confidence that I have in him, and I know the players feel the same way. They were talking about it today, on camera and off camera. So I'm going to put that as hot. I think this is the right coach at this moment in time to make some changes.
You know, I like the way you took that. I'm gonna say he's kind of warm and hot as well, just because
kind of warm and kind of hot.
The last couple weeks, I felt like I keep saying that they like when they started 1-6, he turned it around. When they started 1-10, he turned it around. And I keep saying like these stretches, like luckily this stretch wasn't 1-6 and it was just 4-2. But I still trust the man to turn this thing around.
Do you say this is
full-heartedly?
Pretty good comment from Shane Daniel. Do you agree he's low on the list of problems?
Very.
Yeah.
I think if anything, he's on the list of helping fix those problems.
Yeah, 100%.
And he does a really good job of doing it. I wanted to bunch these guys up together, and I think it could happen because I'm going to go first with this one. I went coordinators in general. Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, and I'm going to go cold. They're both, and I think this isn't a secret. We've done a lot of segments on them the last week. Aaron Glenn, even when we're talking about Ben Johnson, I see in the chat people chatting it up about Aaron Glenn. He seems to be one of the hotter topics in Detroit right now. Maybe he shouldn't be, I don't know, but this defense has been pretty bad. I'm going to go cold with the coordinators. Even with Ben Johnson, I think he's been struggling a little bit. That's been in the past. That 8-2 stretch, 7-2 stretch, your strengths were Ben Johnson. So that's been an issue the last couple weeks. I would like to be able to do a temperature check next week and say the opposite for these guys.
That'd be amazing.
And this is a big chance for that. Even Aaron Glenn, if he can find a way to turn this around and hold this Denver team under 20 points, I think that's like, okay, we're making improvements here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go cold for now for these guys. I'm just going to be brutal honest with that.
I'm with you.
I would hope everyone around here says cold as well.
Yeah, whatever they feel, they feel.
If someone says hot, let's have a conversation. You step into my office. You say hot.
Entitled to your own opinions.
Besides that one.
I'm going to go with cold, too.
That's nuts.
I'm going to go with cold, too. Because Ben Johnson hasn't had his best couple games. It doesn't alleviate any of the problems of the defense, which they have their problems. They aren't as bad. They don't get as much credit for doing the good things as they get hated for the bad things, but they haven't been that great. The offense now hasn't been great, so I'm putting them as cold.
All right, I love that. This is going to be an interesting one. I think maybe this is a consensus as well. Jared Goff.
He's cold. Yeah, he's got to be cold now.
I had to put him on the list because we didn't. People are going to be like, did you put him on the list because you don't want to talk about how he's cold?
They'll still find a way.
He's cold.
Yeah, he's cold. I mean, you can't say he's not.
He's cold.
I don't think we've said anything close to that these last couple of weeks. Optimism is different.
This is the most colds we've already had ever since in this segment.
This is as cold. Have we had it? I guess Dan Kimball's hot. Yeah, but Jared Goff, this is as cold as he's probably been since he came to Detroit, or since that first year, maybe the first couple of games last year. So cold. Yeah.
Freezing cold. Hey,
he moved to Detroit. Terrible. He came from Cali to Detroit for a reason. He wanted to be cold.
All right.
That man's cold.
Cold.
We need him to heat up.
You think he's cold?
Oh yeah. Next one here on offense. We've got a couple more on offense. Next one I have here is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now,
he's cold.
Preface this one. He's had 2 bad games. Don't think it's been his fault. So I don't want to like
Bears, yes. Saints, no.
He was dropping the ball.
He did drop. Well, do you guys remember the drop a couple Thanksgiving when it went through his hands? Almost was a pick six.
I never seen him drop that many passes like ever in his career.
Yeah,
and he did like terrible this week.
Is that because of the Jared Goff stuff?
No. He had a bad game.
He just couldn't catch.
Dude, we're not saying Amon-Ra had a bad game. We're not blaming on Jared Goff.
Nick's reading my mind over there.
What'd you say?
Is it because the spiral? I've been cooking up these heavyweight reels all week, and they always talk about the spiral. Do you think it's lazy, brother?
No.
Yeah.
Do you have
Broder,
a football
what's your
in here?
take on that?
Is there a football in the room here? I want to throw you a ball end to end.
However he throws the ball early in the season, it got to them. They're the leading offense in the league. So
yeah, but if he's starting to throw the ball worse because of the offensive line, because the next one we have here is the offensive line, which I have right now cold.
Yes, but real quick, Amon-Ra St. Brown to me is cold. He had a bad game against the Bears.
Fair.
He didn't have that bad a game against the Saints. He just had 2 catches for 49 yards, but they locked him up. But that's Ben Johnson had an answer for that. They spread it out and they did fine. But just from this Bears game, I would put him at warm if this wasn't maybe his worst game as a Lion. I'm not worried at all about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, zero. He's going to be hot next week, I'm sure. But this game was not his best.
We're spoiled.
Let's just go with him. I'm going to go with him.
Touchdown too.
Just lukewarm.
Against the Saints.
Yeah.
Lukewarm.
Okay.
I'm going to go warm.
I'm not going to be mad at you for that.
Like, Jared, for 4 weeks, he's had 9 turnovers. Amon-Ra, like, he's dropped a couple passes, but like, he scored, like you say, he scored a touchdown versus Saints, big play. And he has struggled, but he's been a guy where it's like, he typically doesn't do this. Jared, we've seen it in the past. The coordinator, Aaron Glenn, we've seen this consistently.
Just spoiled.
Yeah.
I think it's more so, I'll make it quick. Like, I'm not used to him dropping those passes, like those, double coverage, tight, thread the needle passes. Like, they were there. Maybe it was cold outside. He didn't get the ball that much that game either, though. So he might not have been locked in. But, I mean, he just had a couple bad weeks. But he'll be all right because we just
think he bounces back.
We're just spoiled fans because he's so, perfect almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. I think he bounces back as well when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go warm for him. I'm going to go Luke, like, right in the middle.
You know how pissed he must be having that performance in Chicago with his brother?
Oh, my gosh. I haven't watched the podcast, but I saw him post on his story. Did you see on the story?
I didn't, but I saw the title of it. It says worst episode ever, like in quotes.
Don't watch.
Yeah, he put out his story. He was like, "Don't watch this. Don't click this link. You don't need to move on," or something like. It was hilarious. But he basically was like, "Just don't watch what I showed you this week."
Yeah.
Next one here, offensive line. I think we can say cold.
Yes.
And that's, I think,
and it's similar to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Our expectations are so high.
Yeah.
They didn't have like
I think
a terrible game, but they played bad enough where we just expect so much. So cold.
Can we admit though that's probably just injury based? That's all.
Yeah, that makes it harder to play a good game. I still think Taylor Decker didn't play well. He normally is a guy you can rely on.
Injury though, back injury.
Oh, right. So then I guess yeah.
Because if you think about it, it's like Amon-Ra St. Brown. If he had a twisted ankle and had a tough game, then you're not going to be like. He needed to be, you know what I mean?
Fair,
so I feel like
Graham Glasgow has proved he can fill in. It wasn't his best game. The other guys who filled it, they didn't play horrible. It wasn't their best game.
Did you see? I saw a tweet that had like the last the 15 sacks given up the last couple games. That it had who was responsible for them. I believe it was like Taylor Decker, like 4 or 5. Or
maybe 2 each of the last 2 games.
Yeah, and then it was like Graham Glass got like 4 as well. So those 2 guys, they have been struggling a little bit. The running backs, hot or cold?
I'm going to go lukewarm. And actually, the only reason I'm not going to say hot is because of the drop passes, the 2 huge drop passes in the last 2 games. Other than that, I don't really blame them for the lack of run game. It's more the calls, some of the calls at the time, like that 4th and 4 where they did a little delay handoff to Jahmyr Gibbs, like running kind of to the outs. That didn't make any sense. I think if all the things are going right, like I couldn't be happier with where those 2 guys are at.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing. You know what, too? I'm gonna go. I don't want to go hot.
Go hot.
I think like when you're just breaking down these temperature checks, the running backs they went away from them. They both were having great games, and they just let's go away from them. Let's go at other guy. Like let's 3 and out. So I almost want to say hot because of how they've played and what they've done for this team the last, even during these stretches. I will stick with lukewarm, but you kind of see where I'm going with this one.
I would have said hot if not for, I'm just saying 2 plays, which is, they're big plays, but it's only 2 in the last 2 games. That's my only reason I'm bringing them down. Everything else, they've been fine.
This is the last one. When we do this one, we'll do this. We'll go to break and we'll come back and do defense. Jamison Williams.
Cold. And it's not. This isn't his fault. But how can we say he's hot? How can we say he's? A few weeks ago, the great blocking and the route running, more snap, like the extra things he's been doing, that would be okay. That's enough for me to put him hot a few weeks ago. Now he's had enough time in the games, and I'm not saying it's all his fault. They got to get him the ball, but I think it's cold. We need production on it. I think this Lions team needs production on it.
You know what I'm starting to kind of notice as well, and I agree with you. And I think it's just because he hasn't been getting the ball. And when you look kind of, all of this intertwines together. If you go up all the way up, J-Mo, he's cold because he has not been getting opportunities to have the ball in his hand. And then you move up here and you see the coordinators. They're cold because they're not putting the ball in the right hands and they're not making the right moves. And then you move down and you go Jared Goff. We have him as cold as well because he's not making the plays when he's supposed to be. And then you go down the offensive line. They're cold because they're not protecting Jared Goff to put him in the position to do that, which the offensive court, like all of this, like we could sit here, and this is kind of the what's that, like the eye-opening moment here, if you guys want to say so, for the Detroit Lions right now. We could have all these segments about Jared Goff. We could clip all this stuff about Jared Goff. We could sit there and go at Jared Goff. We just did a hot and cold segment and a temperature check about this offense, and we had 5 different guys that were cold. All of those 5 guys aren't cold because of Jared Goff. The offensive line isn't cold because Jared Goff's playing bad. The offensive coordinators, Ben Johnson, isn't cold because of bad passes. He's cold because he's not putting guys in the right positions to succeed. J-Mo, he's cold because other guys aren't getting put in the right positions to help it. Like, this is a slippery slope here, and that's what's happened in those last 4 weeks. Yes, there's been turnovers, but this is a slippery slope to where this offense, at some point, it has to kind of change. Like, everyone has to start working as a team. Just like you said a little bit ago, you have to be in the locker room. You have to be a team. And as soon as one guy slips up as a team, that starts everything else going down and down and down. So
you're making me. I'm now thinking back to the hot we gave Dan Campbell. I'm like, man, all these colds. Kind of got to look at the head coach. I'm going to give him a hot.
We gave out 4 colds.
Yeah, that's telling on the offense.
Just on the offense. And we still have to go to the defense.
Call me slap if you want. That should also be a reason to be optimistic because there are cold.
Pessimistic and optimistic.
Hey-o.
How about that? You guys want to do a segment about that tomorrow?
Yeah, we do one on Woodward and Maine every Saturday.
That's why I watch the show.
Oh yeah,
I'm a great host. I'm a great co-host here. Me and you.
That's my guy, Boone.
I'll make sure I tune in to watch
That's my guy, Boone.
All right, let's hit a break. Tell us about Dispo. When we come back, we're gonna hit the defense. On your way out, too, make sure you guys hit that like button for us.
Dispo, you can experience a difference today. The Dispo difference, they call it. This Christmas season, they're giving away a TV as well as 2 $100 in-store gift cards per week at participating locations. Nobody does it like the Dispo family. Unwrap the joy of Dispo Dispensary every week. Join them in celebrating for the holidays, so see store for more details. Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis indica plug.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
How would you like to win a $100K Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's a Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack at Meijer today and enter to win. Just register at drinkcintron.com/Vegas. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. You can look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Cintron. Enter now. drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
All right, welcome back in. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Look at this. Cintron,
look at that. I'm going to play, unless Lorena steps in here, I'm going to say, I don't know if that's the best thing for you if you're feeling sick.
Me?
Yeah.
I have to wake up somehow. I've been up since 5 a.m.
I know. I get it. I'm being I'll be show mom.
I've put some hours in. I have to stay
Booner
awake.
is a grinder. I think you work 23 hours a day.
I get home at midnight. I wake up at 5:30, and I'm right back on the road within 10 minutes. I love it though. I love it. I love it. It's for all of you guys. That's what it's for. Appreciate you guys tuning in, though, to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. If you guys haven't yet, if you guys hit those like buttons for us. Let's get the likes up here. We're heading into the last 30 minutes of the show. We're going to keep this temperature check thing moving here. We're going to go into the defensive side of the ball. Broder, I have a couple names. Feel free, if you have any after I get done with mine to add in, feel free to kind of hit me with that here because we got about 7 minutes to the next commercial. First one, I'm going to go to you this. Jack Campbell.
He's hot.
Hot, really?
I'm going to avoid the warm. I mean, yeah, he's hot. He's played his best 2 games these last 2 weeks, and he's getting better. He's getting opportunity, and he's not playing perfect football, but he's getting better. And this is what, again, they haven't clinched the playoffs yet, but if they get into the playoffs, they're going to need Jack to play his best football this season. They're going to need him to play like that 18th pick that they the pick at 18 that they drafted, what they expect out of him. It's going to be, we talk about the playoffs, offensive line and run game is huge. Jack Campbell, that's what he was brought in for. Stuff it. What'd you say about stuffing before? Stuff? Oh, your nose. Yeah. Stuff it like Booner's nose, Jack.
I'm going to go hot as well, too, just because
hot or not.
AG talked about it yesterday with him. People are asking him, like, yeah, he does make some mistakes. People forget that man is a rookie. He's still a rookie, and he's in there making plays that guys that are in the 4th year, 5th year, 6th year vets that are making. So he's plays at a high level. Yes, here and there's going to be those games, and I keep going back to that first Chicago game to where it felt like everyone started going at him and like, oh, is he really a great pick? Because he missed 2 tackles, and then he starts the next week with the green dot, and he goes out there and he kind of dominated a little.
He was green dot stable.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, shout out, great sliders, and he was like one of the best. He was one of the best defensive players on that team. Even in a loss to the Packers, he was a guy that stood out as a rookie, and that's hard to come by, especially at that. Linebacker's a tough position in the NFL, man.
Yes,
you have to
there's a lot.
Yeah, especially if you have the green dot, you have to do so much, and for him to step in there and do that week, and then even kind of continue to do it, he's hot.
Hot or not.
Next one, go defensive line here. Supposed to be one of the best in the league. Aiden Hutchinson.
Cold.
Yep.
Cold. Again, another guy I'm not worried about, but you can't deny that might have been his worst game. He had one of my favorite plays,
even
actually.
with the sack, bad game.
That sack was one of my favorite plays, and even it was either the next drive or the next set of downs, he made a huge stop again. But that was really the only 2 drives where he was a total difference maker. Those penalties were awful.
Yeah.
They were. Again, I'm not worried about it, but the dude's cold.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And was I far off? And if you guys in the chat, if you guys were watching the show the other day, kind of went on a little rant about how he needs to kind of take that step to be elite. If you go watch his game film, he does have plays where he's full on just 110%, but then he does have plays to where he's flopping and he's going for a hold call. Or remember the plays that I showed in those pictures to where he gets there and he's like from me to this microphone away and he just miss. And he just keeps doing that.
Yeah.
And he just can't finish. Like, do you want to be elite or not? That's where I'm at with him. Jalen?
I just think he's trying to get the call sometimes if you look at it like a little bit. And I don't think he's earned that, veteran status or, star status. But like I said a couple shows ago, like he has to fight through that. He's not getting the calls. You can't flop. You're known as Aiden Hutchinson. You're not just some third string, pass rusher. Like they know who you are. So you get, start trying to maneuver that and stop flopping. It's any sport. Make an effort. They're going to respect you at some point. So I think him just having to mature, understand, like, you're that guy who we want. Like, the NFL thinks you're that guy. So, maneuver, start, trying new moves. And just, you're going to get held. You're too great not to get held. So you got to just, overcome that. He'll figure it out. He's young. He has a couple years left, so no worries.
Is it just me, or are the similarities – it's not a perfect comparison, but Aiden and Cade Cunningham, like both in their second year, expected to, be the difference maker. Completely different sports and different situation, but
Except
there's been
Pistons
a time.
are the worst team in all sports.
Right. Cade struggled, especially earlier in the season, not getting calls that were fouls. But it's something you got to learn. You got to earn, and you got to learn how to deal with it. Learn how to play through it. Aiden and Cade haven't really figured it out yet. I know that's kind of a stretch, but you just got me thinking.
I think it's a perfect example because Cade doesn't get any foul calls. He does now a little bit, but like he didn't get none his first year. And Cade is not a flopper. Cade's going in there, injury and all, headstrong, getting contact. He's not getting them. But in the NBA, baseball, football, you have to earn your calls. You're not gonna get, they're not gonna give you shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they'll figure it out and they'll just get comfortable. When they're stars, they'll understand because it's just that's how the sports goes.
Side note, sorry to derail you again, but this is why I don't want there to be an electronic strike zone in baseball.
I hate that.
Like
let it be natural.
Something about being a pitcher. Part of it is earning an inch or two off the strike zone. In the black they call it. Part of it is knowing the umpire. What do they call it? A little high, a little low? Like that is all part of it. And if you're Justin Verlander, you're going to get certain calls versus a rookie pitcher. So yeah. I like that. Like it may be because I was just an accurate pitcher. I wasn't the hardest thrower. So like I could earn that hopefully, but I think it's part of it.
Didn't have the heat, man. I get it. Didn't have the arm.
I didn't. I never threw that hard.
All right, let's move on with that one. Let's go to. I've got 3 more real quick. So let's do these ones quick because we have about a minute or 2 left. Cam Sutton. I'm gonna say lukewarm.
Yeah.
He's starting to get a little colder because he's had a couple games and he's got some plays to where you saw him on the field. The other team makes a big play and you're like, who was that? And then it's like, oh, Cam Sutton. But before that, it was pretty consistent, and it just has been as consistent. It felt.
I'm also going to say lukewarm, but I'm going to sort of flip it around a little bit. I think he played better in this, a little bit in the Saints game and in the Chicago game. He was on a stretch where he wasn't playing very well, and he was getting beat, and he was giving too much space to the wide receiver. Like the last couple of weeks, Jerry Jacobs has been that dude who's gotten taken advantage of. Yep. So I'm going to give him a lukewarm. I mean, we'll talk about it tomorrow. He's got his work cut out for him, whether it's Cortland Sutton, Sutton on Sutton, or he's guarding Jerry Jeudy. He's got his work cut out for him Saturday.
He definitely does. And I'm going to go to this one here, and let's do this as a position group. But these safeties, where are we at? Because Tracy obviously got benched and he got taken out, and then you have Iffy in there, Kirby, and I know you're going to get a CJ back in a couple weeks. But just with these guys you have right now, let's just say those 3. Brian Branch.
I think you got to say
next
cold.
segment we're going to talk actually about Brian Branch. Okay. So I don't want to get deep into that. But I'm going to say I'm going to say a little cold.
Me too.
I'm going to say these guys are a little cold, and there's an issue with it.
If you're starting / second string safety Tracy Walker gets benched again. Can't believe that. Me too, and he wasn't playing that great, but it surprised me too that he was didn't play a snap. Very strange. So we'll see. They need these reinforcements.
Brutal.
Cold.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, I do have a video from the other day about Aaron Glenn in regards to making some adjustments, and this one was a Brian Branch one. I can't remember if we talked about it a little bit yesterday.
We just mentioned it, but we didn't really get into it.
We weren't able to because I had it for a full segment. Yeah, and this worries me, and I want to talk deeper because we did talk about it and brought it up, threw it to the chat, and then we moved on right away. I want to dig deep into this one. All right, let me tell you guys about Big Boy though. Wintertime in Detroit, it is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmesan or the new Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. And how about some breakfast? Stuffed potato pancakes, they are back. They have the classic lumberjack or the Santa Fe Garden. Also, the new apple pie hotcakes, they are too good to miss. I actually tried them, very good. Top it all off with the new gingerbread shake for dessert. Make sure you stop over by your local Big Boy today.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years?
You're
you
successful.
Expand. Yeah, that. But when you're successful, you then want to expand.
You become more successful.
And offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did when they opened Les Stanford Buick GMC. Booner.
Yeah,
But at this new Les Stanford Buick GMC, they offer the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. They're located right down Woodward Avenue. We are Woodward Sports. That is Woodward right out there. They're on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Check them out. Their flagship location also in Dearborn today. Find the brand you want, lesstanford.com. Young Money.
All right, we're back. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you guys are on the YouTube page, if you guys could hit that like button for us. Let's get these likes up a little bit. We're a little low on likes today. We're going to get this up, though. I was just thinking this real quick on the break. Freddie obviously was in studio the other day, and we were walking back here, and we literally were standing there talking for a little bit. And he was like, "Where do you do your Kool-Aid videos at?" And I'm like, hey, "We're standing in it right here. This is exactly we're in the spot." I was just thinking, I have not drank Kool-Aid in a little while.
You thirsty?
I was actually pumped. I was ready to do it on Sunday. I was like, I want to drink. I was disappointed. I was actually disappointed. So I'm hoping Saturday night I can have a.
I'm gonna make some.
I'm excited. I want everyone to start drinking Kool-Aid.
I'll bring you some.
There will be
Kool-Aid.
I'll bring you.
Some
good, yeah.
All right.
There will be grade A Kool-Aid on the table at the tailgate. If you see me down there across the street, I'm not gonna give exact location, but if you see me out and about, across the street from the bar,
bro, Nick, how are you gonna shout out? I'm gonna be down at the tailgate. Come see me, and then not give the address.
I was thinking about it. I just didn't want to shout out the bar because no free ads. It's across the street from a bar downtown.
Yeah, and go hit up Bullseye, the event group. Great little spot there.
There's going to be a bunch of Kool-Aid there.
The tailgate always wins.
Yes, always.
The tailgate always wins.
That was funny, man. All right, let's get into this conversation.
It's across the street from Buc-ee's. Say what up.
Jalen, do you have Spencer's Slack on there, the messages? Are you logged in there? Who are you logged in as? Because I want to send this video. There was a video from the other day. I think it was actually yesterday I sent in at 9:30 or yesterday, and it was Aaron Glenn video.
Actually, I think I do have it.
It was AG on Brian Branch.
Let me load it up, boys.
Perfect, because this is what I want to talk about here real quick before we do mailbag. I want to talk about this whole Brian Branch situation and AG, what he's doing with the secondary. Because as things start to kind of go out a little bit and you start to see him making these moves, this defense has been struggling a little bit. I got you, brother. Bang. You're going to see him start making moves. And it's interesting stuff here because he mentioned stuff about Brian Branch the other day. And it kind of got on my nerves, but maybe he's doing something right. Because what he brought up, he was like, I did this with C.J. Garner-Johnson in New Orleans. And he's taking snaps away from him so he can focus more on one position.
I was confused with this too, and
very confusing.
I talked to Doc Macaroon about this down in Allen Park today, and he eased my comfort a little bit, but it's still something I want to talk about.
Yeah, okay, now let's do this video here. I want you guys to see kind of what AG had to say about Brian Branch. So here's him on Brian Branch the other night.
The thing that I want to do with that player is let him focus in on one job. I mean, I look at the same way when I had Chauncey. All right, when I was in New Orleans, listen, he was playing some safety, playing some nickel. Man, there was a lot within that because of what we asked, like those guys at that position to do. So I want to make sure that I dial it back for him, let him focus on nickel, let him play nickel. And I thought it was a really good game for him, or as far as the stats, because he didn't get a chance to be productive like he's been. But I thought he did a really good job in just playing nickel. And also, I want to make sure if he got as many reps he could at the safety spot.
I want to mention the end of that real quick, Broder. When AG, I liked what he said kind of leading up to it. At the very end, the comment he made saying, I wanted to make sure Iffy got his snaps in. That's where I get to a little question. It's where, are we trying to just get guys to get snaps to get them kind of reps and to get them a little bit better? Or where are we at in the season right now? Are we trying to get the best players on the field? Or are we just trying to say, hey, if he deserves a chance, he needs to get more snaps so he can keep improving and get back. Do you see where my disconnect is a little bit here? Because that is a little worrying because Brian Branch, if we're being honest,
in a playoff
he
race,
has been one of the best defensive players on our team. So to say, let's take him from 90% of the snaps all the way down to 50, just so if he can get a little bit of a chance and he can start getting more reps, that's a little concerning as a DC to me. To where it's what are our
at 9-4 and in a playoff race? Like if the season was over, they were out of it. I get it. Like do whatever, try whatever you want to do. But you could argue he's one of the most, if not the most versatile defender on this defense. That's struggling. That's losing. That has lost versatile players. I don't understand. Just the general concept of why would you want that player, that's what he calls him, why would you want him on the field less? I get, and it was actually really cool to hear him compare it to C.D. Deuce and how he treated him as a rookie or earlier in his career in New Orleans. But to me, you want Brian Branch on the field at all times. He's young, he can recover. And I actually think he's banged up, or he hasn't been the same really since that Packers game earlier in the year. But I don't understand the decision, I'll say, of, all right, we're going to develop him for the future and sacrifice some time on the field now while nothing's guaranteed and we're in a playoff race.
Yeah, like, it just, to me, it's like, what kind of position do you feel like we're in right now? Do you feel like it's over and we're just going to, let's just kind of play for next year? Let's get iffy. Because to me, it's a Brian Branch. I get what you're doing, and I get it because too, when he was in New Orleans, they were having good years as well. So he was able to do that with CJ. My guess though is in New Orleans they had other guys that could step up. Brian Branch, like, you are already very thin in those positions. Like, CJ's already out right now. Tracy, you just benched him for iffy.
So I'm wondering if it has something to do with Tracy. Like, did something like more serious happen that we don't know about? I don't think so, but like, where? If he's good and all, I have nothing wrong with it. But where did this come from? This kind of came out of nowhere. They weren't talking about Tracy Walker. He wasn't playing terribly. He wasn't playing well, but he would play well early in the season. Like he fought. I don't know. He's part of what made this team special. His ability to fight back from that injury and play well when C.J. Gardner-Johnson, C.D. Deuce went out. I don't know.
What? Great point here. God hates cowards. He said, I just gave you the decision. Other guys need reps. So if in the playoffs you can feel who you kind of trust in those maybe that's what they're trying, just to throw some things at the wall and try and say, let's see what works.
And that sounds good. Like that alone sounds good. On the team. Yeah, that alone sounds great. Like you're that is a smart tactic. But why do that in the Chicago Bears game? Like that was a massive game that they didn't just lose. They got kind of embarrassed. NFC North, this is a team you have no business losing to, and you got outplayed. They outplayed you. So the timing of it all. I get that. It's a good point. And you do learn things, but
it bothered me a little bit hearing that. But then it's like, okay, maybe like AG did do it with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He turned out pretty well. So maybe he does know what he's doing a little bit, but it is a little concerning trying to figure that out. I don't know. It's interesting. It is definitely interesting. With that.
Yeah. We gotta think about this. Will be an interesting game now with Denver, which is a more pass-heavy offense than the Chicago Bears. Russell can escape. He is mobile, but he likes to throw the deep ball. They're a little more creative, even in their conservative type of offense. We'll see what.
And you know what mixes it up that much more? In 2 or 3 weeks, you get CJ fully back.
Yeah.
So that's gonna change. Like, who's iffy?
Yeah.
And then you got Kirby, Iffy, and Brian Branch back there again. Remember how good they were in Kansas City?
Yeah.
You're gonna have that for Dallas.
Tracy,
potentially.
I gotta figure this out. It's a really good thought, a good conversation.
Yeah, I love it. All right, when we come back, we're going to hit mailbag here. Make sure you guys drop all of your questions. We want to go straight through here. As many questions as you guys have. Any questions you have. Broders was in Allen Park today, so he can answer all of those. The game is on Saturday. Tomorrow we're going to do our pregame show. So anything you guys have, hit us with it. We'll be... Let me tell you, though, real quick about Lady Jane's. I was going to say, we'll be right back. But let me tell you about Lady Jane's. See this? I think I'm going to get a haircut on Saturday morning. I'm going to come in here a little before the Lions game and come in and get a haircut. Haven't decided yet if I'm going to do just a little fade and kind of get that mullet started. I don't know yet. Have not decided.
Booner bet it.
Come over to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That is right. No expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live Saturday for the official Lions VIP tailgate party ahead of the Broncos game. You can find us at Eastern Market, shed number 5. It's going to be a bash. It's going to start around 5:15. Head up until game time. We got food, we got drinks, we got entertainment. It's all included. Just head to bullseyeeventgroup.com and join us on Saturday. Boom.
All right, welcome in to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Whatever you're watching on, make sure you hit that like button, share the stream, tell a friend.
Yes.
Help us grow the show. You guys are all a part of that. Everyone in the chat, Shift God, Peaceful Tim, Just a Fan, Vincent, Corey, Barry, Shane D, Ken, Dante. Dante, hold on real quick. We got a donation, $10.
Dante
said it. It is now Las Vegas Raiders 42, the Chargers 0 at the half. Oh boy, someone needs to be fired from the Chargers. I bet you tomorrow we wake up, or maybe Monday morning you wake up and Brandon Staley no longer has a job.
Oh,
He might be cooked.
There is
bro.
zero chance, as bad as they've
I
been.
see buzzer, but I see frown on Nick's face.
Oh no, the buzzer was for the donation. No, it's
Oh.
just I'm waiting to.
Sorry.
I'm waiting to sound one off for these Red Wings to tie it up. Hopefully, let's go, boys. Also, does it count as 2 losses for you guys for the total annihilation of your Chargers tonight?
No, come on. Come
I'm
on.
going to take a half a point off yours just for saying that.
Yeah, come on. You're going to lose yours.
Christ, mate.
All right, let's start off mailbag here. This one here, Shane Daniel, mailbag. Lions starting 5 in secondary once CD is back.
Branch and nickel. Cam Sun at cornerback 1. Jerry Jacobs at cornerback 2 / Kindle Vildor. So in 2 weeks, hopefully Jerry Jacobs earns it back. CD Deuce and Kirby Joseph. CD at strong or free. The 2 safeties.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Let's go.
Mailbag. Could we see multiple TDs from our running back duo this weekend? Yes.
I think so, yes. I'm going to do a parlay.
Vincent Ellison, I should have said. Sorry.
I did the parlay last week, and I don't think it hit because D-Mont didn't score. I will do it again this week, but it will just be a D-Mont touchdown and a Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown parlayed. Typically, on a normal week, it's like plus 400, plus 500 when you parlay those together. So I will be doing that.
Freddie Felt, mailbag. Favorite basketball shoe to hoop in back in the day? His were Iverson's. Tonight's show flew by. Thanks, fellas. It did fly by really fast. If you have an opinion on a shoe you wore back, sounds like Jalen, you do.
Booner can go.
No, I'm trying to think. There's a certain shoe that I had. I need to look it up here. And there's one.
I'll go real quick.
Love this. I'm trying to think what year
Go
it
for
was.
it, Jalen.
Best shoes that I hooped in were probably, it's going to sound nuts, were Jordan 6s.
Really?
Jordan 6s. I had some Allen Iverson 2s. And I think, what were the other ones? Hyper dunks, man.
That's what I'm
like
over
here.
Yes.
Not the OG hyper dunks, man, like the strings on the sides and stuff like that. The Blake Griffin joints, the Team USA joints,
2010
man.
hyper dunks.
Yeah.
That was when I said, I was like, hold on, let me check. I'm over here typing in 2014, 2013, 12, 11. I was trying to find the year. 2010 I loved, and then I think maybe 2013 hyper dunks were some that I hooped in my senior year, and I bought like a couple pairs just because like it was just like when you find a shoe you love, no matter how cool they look, if they don't look good or not, when you find one you love, especially in a sport, you stick with them. And then the 2013 hyper dunks, I think I bought 3 pairs, and I used those almost all through high school.
Did y'all buy Nike Elite socks? Remember those?
I'm wearing some now. Look at that.
I still got some.
So I got some NBA ones on right
now. The logo.
Socks,
that's like all I wear. I just have these all black ones, the NBA ones.
All black everything.
Wore the hyper dunks
all
my
black.
sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Nice.
Or sophomore and junior, that was.
Those Iverson questions, Freddie. I'm with you.
I did like some KDs though back in like 2013, 2012.
I had the KD
he had
6s,
some nice
man.
ones.
Yeah.
Tracy McGrady.
And he
I
had
don't
some
know
great
about the low
colorways.
cut or the low, not. I forget what it's called, but.
KD 6s were all low tops, peanut butter and jelly joints. I got those. I'll bring them in one day.
Bruce Bedrock, mailbag. Question to me. Broder, if you've seen him practicing, is Hooker the real deal in your eyes? I believe so. I really haven't seen him practice.
Hooker?
Yeah, Hooker. Hendon Hooker. I think he has potential to be special. He looks great. I just can't give you a full confidence. We really haven't seen him enough to make that statement, but he just looks like he's got it.
There's going to always be these, like everyone, and I know a lot of you guys in the chat probably are the same way, where it's like you want to see what Hooker can do. Like we already know the skill set he has, probably would have a Heisman Trophy if he didn't get hurt. We know kind of his talent, but it's one of these situations to where you don't want to, what is the kind of the saying to where it's like, if you keep asking for more, it's not always better on the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Like Hooker, he could be that guy, that kind of diamond ring thing where you're like, oh, I need that, and then he might just not be in it, be able to beat it like that in the NFL. And said that yesterday. There's been a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL, like the hit percentage for quarterback rates to be great. It's very low.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that Hendon Hooker, and I think he's got the arm. He's got the mobility. He has every single piece that you want in a quarterback in the NFL today. The size. He has it all. He has the leadership. He has all of it. It's, hey, can you do it at the next level? Some guys, you think they have all of it, and then they just can't. So that's where, to me, I'm very interested going into preseason next year and these next couple months, even kind of this last month here, if he ends up getting put in at all, if we sit some guys. I'm just interested to see.
There's a 0% chance he goes in.
What if they're the 3 seed locked up, they can't move up, and they're like, oh, I guess Teddy.
They're not going to put him in.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They'll put in David Blau before they put him in.
I'm interested to see kind of what he does this next 12 months.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want people to keep getting overhyped that, it's going to be Hendon Hooker next. Like, no, it's Jared Goff will be your quarterback next year. No ifs, ands, or buts. You're not moving on to Hendon Hooker next year. I can't see it happening.
To be determined.
Now, maybe second half of next year, like maybe he can play his way in, and Jared Goff plays his way out. But
that's what I think.
I just can't see that happening.
Yeah, it's going to be true. It's all about this off season. Hendon Hooker is the easiest and maybe the best solution if the Lions decide that Jared Goff's not that guy. Being in the building, his strengths are Jared Goff's weaknesses.
Yep.
His weaknesses are Jared Goff's strengths too. He's not as accurate, but you hope you can teach some of that stuff. You hope he's a mature kid. He's going to be 27 next year. He's a smart choice.
Tyler Chevet said, what you don't want is to throw him in there and then start turning him around, benching him, putting him back in. He said, he basically said quarterback flip-flopping is terrible. And that is bad, especially when you're growing an organization and you're sitting there and you have all the pieces around a quarterback and you're just going, oh, let's go Jared, let's go Hendon, let's go Jared, let's go Hendon. This guy's not working. This guy, you want to make sure if he's the guy, he's the guy. And if he's not, you roll with Jared for another year or two, and then you draft another guy, and you try and get the next guy. I keep saying, that's what great organizations do.
And you know what's good about this conversation or leading into next year, what we're talking about, competition.
Yep.
Jared Goff, he's been great. And I know he hasn't been great recently, but he's been great. he now has some pressure on him. He like some competition for his job. So you just hope that elevates both of them. And if that elevates both of them, however it plays out is best for Detroit. Is best for the Lions. What's up?
Red Wings lose 2-1. They just had a shot out in front with the time running down. They lose this one to the Hurricanes.
Come on.
2-1. We desperately need Larkin and Confer back. Hopefully they return soon.
Corey Berry confirmed point blank chance, son of a biscuit.
Son of a biscuit, Corey.
Butter those biscuits.
Shout out everybody.
All right. Appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yes,
Woodward Nights. Make sure tomorrow, full slate of shows here tomorrow for basically everyone's pregame. Morning Woodward show, 8 a.m., followed by Big D Energy. Neil will be back, I believe. Irmani and Edwards with Maz to follow. Heavyweights at 5. And then we will be back here, Woodward Nights. We'd love for all of you guys. Everyone go out and tell a friend to come watch the show tomorrow night, 8 p.m. We're talking Lions. We're talking Broncos. We will see you guys tomorrow. I love you guys.
Toodles, my cheese.